Hey there, everybody. Purpose of this video is to get you some solutions to this crazy die homework thingy. So we did this in class. We looked at the different kinds of dice you can have. These are all the ones I have available in my office. What's the point of dice? Dice are random number generators, plain and simple. It's the only reason you have them. If you need to generate random numbers between 1 and something, dice work. A coin works if you need 2 random numbers, and these dice work for numbers other than 2, and that's what this homework is all about, using 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and so forth. So hopefully this all made sense. I said using one of the other dice up there besides the 6-sided one, explain how to relabel it so it could also be a 3-sided die. I said no need to fill out an entire chart. That was just to be clear as to math. So you can think of it this way. 3-sided dice. I'm going to choose this 12 guy here to be my 3-sided die. And the reason I'm going to choose the 12 one to do it is because if I need 3 sides, that means I need to take however many sides I've got and divide it up into 3 equal piles. And a 12-sided die is nice because its numbers go 1, 2, 3, 4, which could be one option, 5, 6, 7, 8, which could be the second option, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, which could be the fourth option. So literally 9, 10, 11, 12, all 4 of those sides, you could just erase them with sandpaper and call them 3. And then 5, 6, 7, and 8, you could erase them with sandpaper and call them 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, erase them with sandpaper and call them 1. And you've got the job done. Piece of cake. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you got a 3-sided die. Awesome. Using one of those up there, explain to relabel it how to be a 5-sided die. Okay, 5-sided die. Same idea. Let's use the 10-sided die. But it's got 10 sides. You need 5. So just pair them up, make them do double duty. 0 and 1 become 1. 2 and 3 become 2. 4 and 5 become 3. 6 and 7 become 4. And 8 and 9 become 5. Boom. 5-sided dice. Boom. Done. Using one of the other dice up there besides that one, I would say the 20-sided die is the one to go to there. It's just like the 10-sided die, except you've got twice as many sides. So I think you definitely want to go 20-sided there. Now, here's where the fun starts. Yes, this is when you start cringing. Yes. So now, what I want is I want to have a die to come up 3 times as often as tails. Whoops, that should say like, not illic. Like our ADHD or cross. Okay, good. And then there's your solution. So I said explain why indeed that assignment of numbers on a 4-sided die would satisfy the requirement above. I'm going to let you explain that. I can't wait to see what you put there. What other dice could be used to achieve the same 3 times as likely to get heads as tails result? Okay, so a 4-sided die works because what you can do is you could take 3 of the 4 sides and make them heads and 1 make it tails. Would 6 work? No, 6 wouldn't work because if you tried to do the same thing you just did, you're going to realize you're going to have something left over. 8 would work. Because what you can do with 8 is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make 1, 2, 3 be heads and 4 be tails, just like on this one. And then 5, 6, 7, 8 be heads and 5, 6, 7 be heads and 8 be tails. So an 8-sided die would also work. Would a 10-sided die work? No, because you can't break up 10 into packets of 4. It's all about, for this one, packets of 4. If you make it packets of 4, you can take within that 4, 3 and 1. That makes it 3 times likely. So the only other one that's going to work is 12. 1, 2, 3, heads, 4, tails. 5, 6, 7, heads, 8, tails. 9, 10, 11, heads, 12, tails. Done. 20 is not going to work either. If you had a 24-sided die, it would work. Or if you had a 16-sided die, it would work. We don't have any of those, though. We have these. And I think we just explained number 7, why you can't do, why can't you do it with the ones you circled? Yeah, so anyway, we just basically talked through number 7 there. Okay, now we got to get heads 5 times as often as tails. Now, I know it's going to be very tempting to circle 10 and 20 because 5 divides into 10 and 20. But as soon as you start trying to do that, you're going to realize you can't do it that way. As a matter of fact, one of the most obvious ones to do this with is the 6-sided die. What? What are you saying, Sean? Think about it. You want to make 5 heads 5 times as often as 1 tails. So for a 6-sided die, make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 be heads and make 6 be tails. tails has to happen one time for every 5 times heads does. So a 6-sided die works. You actually need to have 6. 5 times as often as tails. 5 plus 1 is 6. 12 would also work, my friends. 12 would also work. All right? Try this one. I don't know why that looks like that. There should be a whole grid. There it is. Coin where heads comes up 9 times as often as tails. Like some of you are going to look at this and go, none of these are divisible by 9. That's correct. You don't want them divisible by 9. You want them divisible by 10 because 9 times heads for every 1 time tails. So either 10 would work or 20 would work. Those are the ones. For that last requirement, give one more die besides. Beautiful. There you go. Can't wait to see what you say. Extra points. Suppose I say to you, I want to pick a die to simulate a coin. For this coin, I need to have heads happen H times as often as tails. Explain how you can decide which dice would work based on the value of H. I promised Elizabeth that I would answer this question, and I'm not going to lie to you, my friend. I'm going to answer it right here. So remember how up here when we said if heads comes up 9 times as often as tails, we got to go 9 plus 1 to get 10, and then figure out which of these numbers 10 divides into, and that's the answer. And then here, 5 times as often as tails, 5 plus 1 is 6, and then figure out which of these have 6 that goes into them. And here, 3 times as likely as heads, 3 plus 1 is 4. Which ones divide by 4? Well, for this one, if it's H times, which means H could be any number, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you'd have to look at H plus 1. Let's make that bold, let's make this lowercase again. You'd have to figure out H plus 1, whatever that number is equal to, and then you gotta look at the dice number of sides and figure out if H plus 1 divides, I don't know why that went down there, H plus 1 divides evenly into that side number. So I'll just give you an example. Based on our numbers up here. Suppose you wanted a die that showed up heads 19 times as often as tails. So that means H would be 19. So you take 19, add 1 to it for the tails. That's 19 plus 1 is 20. Divide 20 into all these numbers and say to yourself, which one does it divide evenly into? Oh, only this one. Suppose you wanted heads to show up 11 times as often as tails. 11 plus 1 is 12. The only one it works for is that puppy dog right there. Suppose you wanted heads to show up 1 time as often. That's a stupid one. That's a coin. But that's the formula. Check H plus 1, divide H plus 1 into the numbers of sides. Anything that doesn't get a remainder, you're done. I hope that makes sense, my friends. We will catch you in class. Have a brilliant weekend.